on the 11th of January precisely, my wife here she had to go to the hospital because she had a bit of stomach pain and indigestion. At the hospital, she was being treated for ulcer, which it wasn't the first time she had been diagnosed with ulcer. So while the treatment was ongoing, she wasn't recovering as quick enough. So the doctor recommended that we carry out an ultrasound scan. She was diagnosed with a fibroid. And we were in between treatment for that, and then we were recommended to another hospital. We were to see a gastroenterologist. It was suggested that the fibroid be taken out as early as possible. While we were still deliberating on whether to go ahead with that or not, about 10 days later or so, precisely on the 21st of January, my wife started having symptoms of paralysis, so she couldn't feel her legs. It got to a point where she became completely paralyzed from the chest down. She couldn't feel a thing. So everything pointed to the fact that the fibroid needed to be taken out, that it was probably compressing the nerves, and the quicker they took the fibroid out, the better it will be. So we had a surgery because she couldn't even feel from here down. There was no pain during surgery. She came out, and several days later, the effect of the epidural had worn off, but she still did not have nerve function. Then we requested to see a neurologist who first diagnosed, what's it called now?
The queried Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Okay.
And then after that, we reached out to another doctor for a second opinion, who then confirmed that it was transverse myelitis. And at that point, I remember before the surgery, I reached out to one of my other doctors who I worked with in the hospital where I worked, and he said there was no way fibroid could be causing those symptoms, that I should see a neurologist and have an MRI done. So when I did the MRI, saw the neurologist, he confirmed that that was the case, and that was when, everything just dawned on us. And it was really difficult because, 2 weeks ago, I could walk, I could cook, I could do everything I needed to do. And then suddenly I was confined to the bed, and it was really difficult for us. I joined the online morning prayers as well. I put it in, the comment section, and I remember Pastor Godman mentioned it and prayed along with me. And I also reached out to, the counseling team on WhatsApp. And I remember the person, whoever it was really helpful. She really encouraged me. He or she really encouraged me. We held on to God. Even when people kept saying we should try other means. I remember one or two people said we should do things that were not in line with God's words, and we refused, and we held on to God's word. And eventually, with physiotherapy sessions, with my hospital visitations, we're committed to all these things. I started to get better. I started to stand. I started to, take a few baby steps, and going on and on, I now began to walk and, do all the things that I used to do. And I can say that I might not be 100% yet, but God has been faithful, and we're almost there.
So the most remarkable part of this testimony is the fact that even the doctors, the neurologists who had been really helpful, had given us a prognosis of 2 years, at least 18 months to 2 years before she could walk again. But in 6 months, she started gradually being able to stand, walk with aid, and now here we are today. Even the doctor is surprised, and it can only be God. Nothing is impossible with God.
Let's hold on to your faith.
With God, nothing is impossible.
And so I just want to encourage anybody there who's trusting God for one thing or the other. God is faithful and He will always see us through.